Greetings, I'm Bishop, your host, and you're watching Tengaged Confidential, your source for news, information, tips and tricks, and anything else related to Tengaged.com. Today's player spotlight is Heather15. This amazing player went from blue belt, or color level blue, to black belt, or color level black, in a matter of days. I went through about 8 pages of her previous games, and she consistently takes top positions in all of her games, primarily rookies and the duel. She says that she had a winning streak that got her both karma and teas to get her up in those color levels quickly, while still maintaining a decent bank account afterwards. When asked about premades, she states, "It's just the way people play in rookies. A lot of people join with premades to get by. She's not so fond of rookies because of all the drama. However, when it comes to premades, they can be both a good and a bad thing. The good thing is that you increase your odds of winning or going further. On the other hand, if your friends join a game unexpectedly when you are in a premade, you either have to nom or evict them in order to stay loyal to your premade." When asked about charity games, Heather states, "Charity games are fun and a great way to help when you need the teas. However, they are also a pain in the butt. If one of these charity games is hosted by someone, that's fine. However, if it's a milestone charity game, she's not a big fan." She said she was in a recent rookies game where someone was having their 100th game. He started the game with no friends, no previous alliances, and he placed 5th. She says if you have a milestone game and you want to win, bring people in. Don't expect people to join later and then give you the win. This is a gaming site in which we all compete to win. I asked her if she received any kind of hate mail or anything after that game. She said she didn't receive any kind of hate mail, but she did get a lot of blog entries that weren't so friendly. She says, however, she did have a group of friends who joined after a slow game. They all waited patiently, and as soon as the slow game filled, they all joined a new game, unaware that it was somebody's 100th game. Joining a 100th game after a slow game is not a smart move because everyone wants to join fast. Since there were 6 in their pre-made, one of them decided to play 6 so that they could give Rocker Final 5 or Final 4. She said she may have nommed him, but 2 people evicted him as well, though she was the only one to take the blame. People called her cruel and were disappointed in her. However, she says, it was not like we gave him 10th or 6th. They at least got their money back, so people weren't as mad. This is a player y'all should be looking out for. She's going to be a loyal teammate if you team up with her, or a fierce opponent if you cross her. Well, good luck to you, Heather, though I doubt you'll need it. Today's Crazywhitebelt, or color level. You know what, screw that. I'm not saying color level, even though you guys keep telling me to in my comments. Color level sounds too generic. Belt is, just it rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. Black belt, red belt, kind of reminds me of martial arts. Anyway, we're going to go with belt. So today's Crazywhitebelt is DoubleRainbow. Rainbow is an American, plays football, basketball, and tennis, is possibly a Sagittarius, but not sure with the new astrological sign that's out there, and they owe their success to strategic alliances and staying active. DoubleRainbow has a nice record with 2 previous wins and is currently in day 7 of their 3rd game, which is not a bad start. I first came across this player by receiving an email from Super Cookies telling me to send an email to DoubleRainbow wishing them a happy birthday. I asked DoubleRainbow about this, and they said it was just a prank. Anyway, if you go through DoubleRainbow's bio and blog entries, they have quite a few blog entries that are pretty interesting. One states that DoubleRainbow wants a pony. Another talks about a new fad they started in school by saying just had sex after everything they say. Another talks about the Ultimate Clown game, which is a wonderful group game where you start by getting banned, mailing randomize, asking them to take part in the Ultimate Clown game, in which case you'll play against 10 other clowns in mini-games, and after about a week you'll have your wonderful red clown nose removed. DoubleRainbow, you are an extremely interesting player. I wish you luck both in your current game and in future games. You are a welcome addition to the Tengaged team. Today in Tips and Tricks, we're going to talk about plussing and negging. Depending upon the situation, plussing and negging can have varied results. For instance, in casting games, POV is primarily based upon activity and receiving the majority of positive pluses on your comments. So to get the greatest benefit, you and your alliance need to plus each other as often as possible. Getting that day 12 POV is the most important as it guarantees you a seat in the final 3. So you might want to time your pluses accordingly so that you receive the most pluses on day 12 as opposed to day 11. You should also be careful because if you are only going to plus your teammates, people can easily figure out who is in your alliance. Negging in casting can have detrimental results as nobody likes a negger and it can get you evicted quickly. If you're going to neg in casting game, ensure that nobody else is online to see you. When playing rookies, plussing and negging is much more important as it determines who gets head of household and thus who gets to choose who gets nommed. A common tactic is to spam the hell out of public chat with your team and plus each other as often as possible. Negging is not as common as plussing, but it's still very present. Negging opponents' comments can decrease their chances of winning head of household, but ensure that if you're going to neg, like in casting, ensure that it doesn't reveal your alliance. With designs and blogs, plussing results are obvious. If you get enough pluses, you can get your design to the auctions or get your blog to the top blogs. But be careful if you're going to spam, as it is a violation of the Terms of Service Rule number 8. And the person who receives your request to plus you might just neg you for spamming them. Interestingly enough, plussing and negging blogs doesn't really have much impact depending upon your goal. If your goal is to earn T's through blogs, then it is better to have several blogs that each only earn you 0.1 T or 0.2 T's as opposed to one blog that earns you a lot of pluses. If you do make the top blogs, you'll still only receive a few T's at most. So, like I said, if you're looking to earn T's, it's better to just have several small blogs that earn you 0.1 T, 0.2 T, as opposed to trying to get top blog. If your goal is to get your blog seen by as many people as possible, for instance, if you have really something important to say, or you're hosting Tengaged Confidential, etc., then pluses are very important because it'll get you on the top blog, which in turn gets more people to be able to notice it. Today in groups, I'd like to talk about a group that I made. Yes, I made it, and I know it's kind of jacked up that I'm plugging my own game, but it really is an interesting game that is very different from others you may have played before, and quite simply, it's a little sadistic. Anyway, it's called Celebrity Deathmatch. In this game, 30 players will compete to win the title of Deathmatch Champion, as well as receive 74 T's from me, compliments of Jixty and Amazon.com. Yes, I'm giving away T's, and yes, you can give away T's using the method that I'm using. Anyway, each day, players will be put to the polls where other group members, you if you join, get to pick who dies that day. The player who receives the most votes will die, and the 2 remaining players will move on to the next round. This will go on until one player remains alive, hence being crowned the Deathmatch Champion. There are a couple of twists with this game. First of all, players have health. They start day 1 with 100 health. Once the polls are closed, whatever percentage of votes they receive, that's how much life they lost. For example, if a player starts a round with 100 life but receives 40% of the votes, in the next round he will only have 60% life. Their life will continue to dwindle throughout the rounds. If a player's life ever reaches 0, even if they win the polls, they will die. This will make the game more unpredictable. But like wounds, they can also be healed. Each day, players will receive a trivia question in email. If they answer the question correctly and in time, they will earn back a little health. Now, even though players have been set up already, group members, you if you join, can not only vote for who they want to live or die, but you can make bets on who you think will be the Deathmatch Champion. Whoever guesses correctly will earn a spot on my show, on my next show, as well as a reserved seat for the next game, regardless of your color level. So you'll have the chance to win T's too. Now I'm going to show you who's playing. As a group member, you guys will be able to decide which of the following players live or die. Their lives are literally in your hands.
Tonight, Celebrity Deathmatch.
Come on, step into the ring. It's Mr. X to the Z exhibit.
Ladies and gentlemen,
family feeling it, killing it. I'm concealing it until the right time. I should separate your hand from your spine. Get in line, 2000 design, but still 3000 compatible. Get the missing link between the man and the animals. Cannibalistic, sadistic. Look at you now. Got your whole body twisted up, kick you when you down. We thicker than you now, so yo, I ain't afraid of nothing. When I talk motherfuckers, listen like E.F. Hutton. Exhibit cutting all the nonsense short. My homies got a hobby buying from Robbie's out of the ride report. Yo, I swing before I get to the ring on everything. Another team that moves like this is yet to be seen. Till then, I'm about to check your chin, and all you hearing is the
The game starts January 5th, so please join quickly. Also, stay tuned to my blog and the group page to ensure that you get the latest updates on who lived and who died. Remember, your vote does count. I'm Bishop, and thank you for watching Tengaged Confidential.